Welcome back, and I want to thank you very much for persisting through the 5 introductory videos for the first day of Classics 397, Greek Myth and Tragedy. I'm Professor Nicholas Sterling, and want to thank you again very much for taking the course, and thank you especially for persisting through these academic ones necessary to get you through the course requirements and the orientation so that you will know how to complete the course. I hope that all the future videos will be far more educational and informative and entertaining to walk you through the journey of ancient Greek tragedy with some play regarding its mythological content as well. Looks like our fellow here has gotten rather desperate looking. What's going on now? Well, it's exams. So I guess he's rather terrified of the exams, and I wouldn't be surprised that you might be terrified of the exams as well. Well, I hope that this last video for the first day of class will walk you through the exams in an effective way that will help you to know what to expect from the exams and will make them easier for you to take. I certainly want you to pass them because I want you to pass the course and write lots of really great things about how great the course was and come back and take more classics courses, including especially the online ones. So we do want you to pass and find the course a worthwhile, enjoyable experience. But there are some things that need to be done properly in order for that to happen. So this first video related to exams will give you the brief introductory overview so that you will know what to do. I will also mention importantly that there will be later videos pertaining specifically to the midterm and the final exams. Also, there are review sheets online that you will come to for those days of the course right before you're taking the midterm and the final. So you'll have plenty of orientation both in video form and in written form to help walk you through these 2 exams. Now, the first thing I do need you to do, though, is to pause your video and please return on Sakai to forums, because that is where you will find the oath of academic honesty. Please pause your video. Okay, have you come to forums? If you have, then you should see the third one down, the one called the oath of academic honesty. Now, there's a document there for you to download. You need to read the content of the Oath of Academic Honesty, which is basically saying that you will observe the closed book protocol correctly for both the midterm and the final, and that when you write the essay, that you will not plagiarize, and also that at no point will you rely on any assistance from any other students or anybody else when you complete the 2 exams. So what I'd like you to do is to download the document that's there attached for the Oath of Academic Honesty. There is a series of blanks at the bottom for you to put your name once you have read the oath through. Please put your name and then upload the document back into the forum so that I will have it and will know that you have read the Oath of Academic Honesty and that you understand its requirements. So please make sure that you do that prior to your taking either of the exams so that I know that you understand what is expected of the course in terms of proper honor code that's required for completing the course. Okay, so once you've taken care of that, then let's please continue on with the exams themselves. So you'll notice that both the midterm and the final exams have a closed book section and an open book section. So the closed book section, as the oath will stipulate, requires you to complete that with nothing except your memory and either your pen and pencil or your computer with you as you complete them. The open book essay, you are permitted to use whatever resources you'd like, including whatever you prefer from outside the course, but you do need to make sure that if you do cite anything from outside the course in your essay, that you do provide the proper footnote or endnote citing the source, plus also the works cited or bibliographical page providing the information for what you cited. So please make sure that you do that properly so that you do give credit for anything, anybody else's work that you use and that you therefore avoid plagiarizing somebody else's work. All right, now let's talk about the specifics of the midterm itself. The closed book section of the midterm requires you to, first of all, identify 10 names. The names themselves will be provided on the midterm itself, and they will be names of characters from the plays, as well as other subjects related to the history of the ancient Greek world, including Athens itself. Could be deities, could be obviously the character names themselves, could be locations. So you're going to select 10 of those and identify those briefly in about 2 or 3 sentences, being certain to identify 3 different topics related to that particular name. So if you should happen, for instance, to get Zeus, you would not be saying to me that Zeus is the brother of Hera and also the husband of Hera. That's not really something separate. You need to make sure that you find 3 different topics. You also need especially to be sure you indicate what makes that particular character or concept tragic in nature. Most likely you'll be picking characters from the plays themselves, so you'll need to describe to me what about the character is tragic. How does that character contribute to the tragedy that occurred in the play in which the character is described? So you have to get a good sense as the course goes along of what tragic means, and therefore be able to relate the concept of tragic to that particular character so that you can describe the character's tragic role accurately as you complete the closed book section. So that's the first part, and that you will be able to do right away as soon as you have access to the exam. Now, the other part, though, for the closed book part, must be done on the morning of the exam itself, the date of the exam, and that is 2 passages. When you log on to Sakai that morning, there's a 3-hour period from 7:30 to 10:30 in the morning in which you will need to go to a special folder and pull out 2 passages that may be taken from any of the Aeschylus or Sophocles plays that you'll have read up to the point of the midterm exam. The exam itself gives you 4 questions that you'll be answering about those 2 passages. So you have to identify the passages correctly by author and work, describe a bit about the background about the play that the passage comes from, and then describes some relevance about the passage itself, including what the author might have been trying to accomplish with that passage, whether there's anything that changes in the plot, whether the audience is supposed to observe something or pay special attention to something in this passage, whatever it might be. So that's something you have to do on the day of the exam itself. Should you have any difficulty accessing those passages, or if you expect that you might have difficulty even getting on Sakai during that period, you may email me and I can arrange to send you 2 passages separately so that you'll be able to complete that requirement. Be aware that the midterm exam is due by the end of the day on the day that is prescribed on the syllabus. So be sure that it is all together on that day. Now, the other part of the exam that you can work on in advance of the passage portion is the open book essay. So in effect, when you first get access to the midterm exam, you can work on the IDs and the essay first, and then on the morning of the exam itself, that the exam is listed on the syllabus, that's when you would go and get your 2 passages to be able to complete that last part. You'll then need to put the entire midterm exam into a single document, all the parts that you've completed, and upload that document into your Dropbox. You can also place it on the forum if you would like. I am aware that the Dropbox has in the past been unreliable sometimes about uploading exams. So if you do run into any difficulty with getting the exam into the Dropbox, even though I do prefer it in the Dropbox, you may email it to me directly, or you may put it on the forum for the midterm exam to be sure that I get it. And you certainly may email me in case you do need to alert me that there may be a difficulty about getting the midterm exam online. Okay, the essay. For the essay, you have 2 choices. Make sure that you write about only one topic of the 2 that are available, not both. So one topic is explain how the myth that is described in your chosen play, you're going to choose one play, and write one of the 2 topics that are available for you about that one play. Explain how the myth described in your chosen play, let's say Persians, for instance, or Seven Against Thieves, how it's been converted into a tragic story. So you want to think about what about the original myth, which you may have to research separately. What about the original myth has been transformed into something tragic, a really tragic story in this particular play? That's the first choice. The second choice of essay topic is, in what respect is this particular play more of an Athenian play rather than a general Greek play? From what you have read by then in World of Athens, you should get a strong idea of what Athenian culture is like and be able to think about how this play is addressing specific Athenian concerns. And so, to what extent do you see this play as a specifically Athenian play? And describe that for me. There are some things to know about essay writing that I will expect fairly strictly from the essay. First of all, since you presumably will be typing this essay using a word processor, you do have access to various tools such as spelling, thesaurus, a way to check names to be sure that names are spelled correctly, grammar, punctuation, and so forth. So be sure that your essay is well edited and proofread. Be sure sentence structure is done correctly. Again, be sure words are spelled correctly. Watch out for homonyms like throne, W-N versus N-E. And also, because this is a fairly formal piece of writing, it's going to be important not to use contractions or anything else in the essay that is conversational in nature. Okay, so it's expected to be fairly formal. And then also, the first thing I will look for are those superficial elements. And the second thing is, how effectively do you prove your case? Can you cite for me passages, and do you in fact cite for me passages in the essay itself, taken from your chosen play to back up the argument that you're making? So whatever argument you have is fine, but in order for the essay to cut the mustard with me, you have to be sure that you cite passages from your play that back up your argument so that I know that you've read the play and that you have used it effectively for the purpose of proving your argument, that you've done some hardcore analytical work with your play. Okay, so that's what I have to say about the midterm exam. Any questions, of course, you're welcome to email me. And as I say, if any problem comes up with the passage access, you can email me at that as well, and we'll do something to help you out. But remember, again, the entire midterm exam, so that you do not suffer any late deductions, must be into me by the evening, we'll say midnight, of the essay date. I'm sorry, the exam date, excuse me, on the syllabus. All right, final exam. Now that you've got midterm, the final is pretty much a carbon copy of it, although I will give you the topic for the essay. The closed book is 4 passages of the same type as these two, and once again, those 4 passages must be accessed off Sakai 7:30 to 10:30 in the morning on the morning of the final exam, which is your 15th date listed for you on your schedule. Okay, so you'll have to get in specifically at that time to be sure that you have access to the final passages, the 4 passages. And you identify them the same way, and those 4 passages can be taken from anything in the course, Aeschylus or Sophocles or Euripides, the third and final playwright. So make sure that you really do know those plays well, and especially that you can distinguish the ones that look very similar, like Seven Against Thebes by Aeschylus versus Antigone by Sophocles, which look rather similar. Also, the different Electras, that you know the difference among them. Okay, so that's going to be on you to demonstrate to me that you can successfully identify those and distinguish one from the other. Okay, that's the final exam closed book. The final exam open book is How Mythological is Greek Tragedy? That's your question. How mythological is Greek tragedy? And the same thing again, be sure that your essay is well edited, well proofread. Be sure that you cite any outside sources from the course that are relevant for your essay topic. Anything that you cite, make sure that you provide the endnote or footnote, as well as the works cited. And of course, make sure that you, again, cite passages from whatever plays you decide to use as evidence, so that I'll know that, again, that you've read the plays and that you are capable of citing evidence. Essays typically run approximately 4 to 5 typewritten pages. They should please be provided in 1.5 space or double space. Please do not use single space. It is best if you can use Microsoft Word or Microsoft Office, as that's the format that I can use most easily on my computer. If you are using a different format and there's a chance that I may not be able to open your essay, you do have the option of creating a PDF and providing that instead. I will certainly accept a PDF if that's the most effective way you have for getting the exam into me. Again, please submit it in your Dropbox or on the forum for the midterm exam or for the final exam under forums. You can also email it to me directly, and if you need confirmation, of course, you can email me and indicate that you'd like confirmation that I have actually received the exam, so that there's no mishap with transmission where you suddenly discover that I never got the exam. So obviously, feel free to contact me if you need any help with that. But again, the main thing is being sure that the midterm exam and the final exam both are on time, because you want to be sure that you do not get held up past the deadline and end up incurring late deductions. As long as you do complete everything on time properly, and as long as you observe the general precepts I've laid out here, then you should be fine. Main thing also is that there will be, again, additional aid provided for both exams right on the days before the actual exam dates themselves. So there will again be the review sheets and also the extra videos there to assist you. Okay, at long last, I'm happy to report that you have gotten through the first 5 videos of this course, and you have therefore gotten through the first day. So now I can finally get you into the main journey that we now have launched for the exploration of Greek myth and tragedy. So our next video that we'll be watching will have to do with your first playwright Aeschylus, and from there we'll start into videos pertaining to stage drama as well as ancient Athenian history. Thank you so much, and I'll see you again tomorrow for our next videos on Aeschylus, Athenian history, and stage drama.